Okay, let's make an animated robot arm. So I'm going to just start building it. I'm going to use a cylinder, and I'm going to start drawing the cylinder in the left viewport. You might want to do the same so everything will work out. All right, and you can just right click to get out of the creation mode. I'm going to make that a little bit skinnier. Okay, so that'll be his upper arm. Now, if we made this out of a box, the pivot would be in the center, but the cylinder has it at the base, which is where we want the arm to swivel already. So that was one less thing we have to do. I'm going to hold down Shift and make a a second piece to the arm. All right. So this will be the upper arm and this will be the lower arm, and then we'll put a hand down there. All right, I'm going to get my sphere tool, sphere shape, and draw a sphere there. Okay, I'm going to hit F4 to turn on edges. So there's sort of a shoulder joint, and I'll do another one of those for the elbow. And then one more down here. Okay, and you can adjust the size to whatever looks good on these. And this thing, I'm going to make like a rotating drill head kind of a thing in here. So I'm going to turn on hemisphere. I'm going to put hemisphere to 0.5. And that'll work. All right. I'm just kind of roughly putting them in here. I can align them afterwards to get that straight. I think I'll make this one a little bit bigger. And then let's make sort of a grinding thing in here. I'm going to go to my extended primitives. And what is this thing called again? Is it Hedra? Yeah. So if I do like *2 on Hedra, I'm just also going to build this here so it appears more or less in the right place. Let's see what this looks like. So *2 or *1, oh, maybe *1. And I can adjust the different. I mean, change these P and Q numbers is kind of interesting. Ooh. I'm just messing around here. Ugh, I think I've made a mess. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to use this because whatever. I don't think it really matters. All right. So let's see. So we can make this thing. We can make this piece. We'll link and adjust the pivot points and everything. We can make this piece spinning while the hand kind of like turns, and the two parts of the arm can be articulated and moving. Let's put some other parts in here too. Like we can put a helix here and have it kind of animated, moving back and forth. So I'm going to go back to create, and the helix, remember, that's the in your splines. It's the one thing here that's actually 3 dimensions. So I'm just going to start it here, also in the left viewport. I'll have to adjust it to get it the way I want. Let me just move it up here. All right, so there's a helix. Let's go to modify. And I'm going to turn on rendering in the viewport and renderer. And you can change the thickness to whatever looks good, right? But I'll show you what I'm trying to make. So let's see, how big should this be? So maybe like, let's try 5 and 5. Okay, yours may be different because your cylinder is different. And I'm going to change make the height longer so it goes the full length of this. All right, so it kind of disappears into the end things on either side. And then we can change the number of turns like that. And what I can animate is the bias. I can make it go, be going like this, which I think would look kind of cool. All right. Actually, I think that going into these circles is kind of not such a good idea, into the spheres. Let's try another thing. So I'm going to make a copy of this one. Just hold down Shift, drag a copy, not instance, but copy. And let's make it bigger and then turn the radius or the height way down. Something like that. I think I want more sides on this thing. Yeah. Okay, it's just a few more things we have to link together, but make it look a little more interesting. Okay, so now this piece kind of vanishes inside these those two circles there. And let's move this thing, make more copies of these guys. And let's make one more of these and have this thing animate up and down. I'm going to change the color of a few things just so you can see what I'm doing. This could be just sort of interesting, sort of a piston-looking deal. All right. Let's align all these things. We'll align everything, and then we'll adjust the pivot points if needed, and then we will link everything together, and then we can animate. So we're building kind of a rigged piece of work here. And you could add a lot more stuff. I'm just, kind of making up some fun things here. All right, so first of all, to align something, you can use this up here, right? That guy. So I have one object selected. If I click on the other one, right, it's going to align the first object to the second object, right? So what it did is I have it set to, let's set it to center and center, okay? But it put the first cylinder I selected right on top of the other one and aligned it in X, Y, and Z, right? So I want to keep the cylinder out where it was, but be aligned in the other 2 dimensions, right? So if I just uncheck one of them, okay, and I got the right one. So there I aligned it in X, need reading glasses, X and Y. Okay, it's seeing this a little bit differently than I am, but at any rate, it's if I were to uncheck Y, okay, that's hardly changed at all because I put them right on top of each other. Oh, actually, they're probably already aligned because I used the gizmo when I copied it over. So, but I'm going to say okay anyway. The circles I definitely didn't do that to. So this one, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to align to there and see Y and Z. Okay, This one also, because I just drew this freehand, right? So align to this object. Okay, and this one, I'm going to align to this object. Okay, the align thing gets a little bit, takes a little bit of getting used to, because it's odd to me that the first thing you click on, for whatever reason, just, okay. I put these in pretty much the right place to start with, so I'm not seeing a huge amount of, that one must have been off a little bit. All right. I mean, as long as they look about right, you could also just, go into the side viewport and just make sure everything is kind of centered there. That'll work too. All right, this whole thing's kind of long and skinny, but I think it'll work. All right, so now let's link it all. So the parts that are, this thing is going to move, right? And this thing is going to move, the upper arm and the lower arm. So all the parts that are associated with the upper arm that I want to move with it, I'm going to link to it. And then that upper arm, the lower arm, sorry, I'm going to link to the upper arm. Okay. So let me put this guy into position. Start him down here. All right. So I'm going to, so I go to select and link, right? And I'm gonna, well, actually, this thing here, I might be swiveling this hand independently. So I'm gonna link this to that, okay? And then this thing, I'm gonna link to the upper arm. I'm gonna have that be the parent for this group. This guy to this one. This guy to this one. And this guy to this one, all right? So that's all good, right? And now I'm going to link all the parts here to this one. I'll let this be the parent. So I'm going to take the ball here. I think that's correct. Link to that. Take the cylinder, link to that. Take this helix, link to that. Take this guy, link to that. And the sphere, I'm going to let that be the parent of all. So I'm going to link this one to that. All right. Now, the one thing I didn't do is I didn't link this parent to its parent, right? So let's just check and test to see how everything works. So I went back to my regular select and move. And if I drag this, yeah, I got everything. If I drag this, I should just get the grinding head there. Yeah. If I drag this, I get that, right? And if I get this, I get those parts. So yeah, all I need to do is link this one to that one. Okay, so link from here to here. Yeah, so it's all working good now. All right. Let's save this. Okay, or save at this point. All right. Now, pivot points. Yeah, so here's one. So I'm looking at these. I went to the front viewport, right? Because it's less confusing. So I'm gonna work my way back and just check the pivots. So this thing I wanted to pivot from the back, right? I want this to be like a wrist, not pivoting from the front. So I go to our third tab here, right? Effect pivot only, and move this guy to approximately where I want it to pivot from. This is the thing. Remember, you turn this off when you're done, right? This one's in the center. I want it to rotate around its own center, so that's good. This one here doesn't matter. It's not moving independently. This thing here is down there. I guess in theory, I guess this pivot should be in the middle of the sphere. You know, not that that's a very big difference. And yeah, so that should, the pivot points should be all good now. All right, let's animate, and as usual, let's animate from child in. It's easier to start from the extremities. Okay, so let's go down to our filters. We're going to start with some rotation. Okay, and we can just leave this on 100 frames. We'll just make this thing loop. So I'm at frame 0. Okay, turn on set keyframing, put one down. All right, this thing I'm just going to have it run continuously. And let's make it rotate on this axis. Oops, turn on angle snap and go 360. Okay, and then hit a keyframe. Let's play that and see what happens. All right, so it's the usual stuff that we encountered last time that we need to fix. So just right click on one of those keyframes. And is it X, Y, or Z? Let's find out. Okay. On X, there's no change in the value, so it's not that one. Is it Y? What was the last one I choose? Is it Z? Okay, yeah, so there's a change in value. So we need to make these linear because we want this thing to, this particular thing, we want it to loop, right? So both keyframes, make those linear. And let's, in frame 2, let's make it, instead of 360, let's make it 3600. Doesn't really matter if it's positive or negative. All right, so that's cool. I better save mine too, so. Let's see. Robot arm. All right, so let's animate this thing. Actually, let's do something else first. Let's make this guy move up and down the arm, right? And we'll have this spring going back and forth, and this thing moving up and down the arm might look kind of interesting. So we got to change our filters. Instead of rotation, we want position. Okay, set key, start at frame 0, put a key down. I'm going to go to somewhere in the middle. I'll go to frame 50, and I'll move it this way. Put a key down, and I'm going to hold down Shift. And remember, you got to push Shift down first for this. I'm going to copy this key up to frame 100. All right, we can, push these closer together and make it go back and forth a bunch of times if we want to. Just not sure how this is going to look. Let's try then bending the arm up, right? Oh, no, let's do the hand first. Okay, so this is back to rotation, right? Turn off position, set key, put a key down. I'm going to just go to like frame 25 or something, and I will rotate it this way. I guess not too far because I put this dumb thing kind of in the way. Well, that's okay. It doesn't need to be that huge. And then again, I'm going to copy the first frame to the end. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's just some random movement. All right, now we'll try this guy here, and hopefully this cylinder won't get messed up, okay? So we're still in rotate, put a key down, and I'm going to have it bend up like that, put a key. go to later on in time, have it bend down. And I guess I'll just copy it back to straight out at the moment. That's cool. All right, so it's bent around frame 30. So I'm going to try, let's do the upper arm then. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's get this guy going back and forth. This helix. All right. So this will be a different kind of transform, a different filter, right? The when this is selected, right, the things we're animating is the thing we want to animate is the bias, right? And so that's an object parameter. So if I go to my filters, you will see that object parameters is one of your types. Okay. When I make a key, it's going to create a key for all of these parameters, every parameter for this parametric object. But we're only actually animating one. But so just a forewarning. So okay. So object parameters. I'm going to. I guess I'll start at frame 0 again, set key, put a key down, and I'm going to, when this bends all the way up, I'm going to make, oh, sorry, forgot what I was doing. Let's have this go back and forth fast. So I put a key down, and then I'm going to make my bias go this way. Put a key down. Okay, and then I'm going to go and make the, let's see, what was the bias on this one? It was 0.22. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to type in minus 0.22. Let's see what that does. Oh, forgot to put a key down. All right, 0, 0.22, minus 0.22. I know what I'm doing, I swear. Okay. And let's then, if we copy these two, or should we, let's try just copying those two and see what that does. So I'm going to get rid, you don't have to do this exactly, but I'm going to get rid of the one that has no bias at frame 0. I can just delete the key. Okay, so I'll always be, each key will be biased one way or the other. So you can copy a bunch of keys at once. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, it's got a, I'm going to delete one key there. See if I can get a slightly better result. It had a little jump in it. All right, so I just need to that's kind of interesting. I mean, it doesn't, you know, who knows what this thing is doing, you know? I mean, it doesn't, if it looks interesting, that's cool with me. All right, so now let's animate this guy finally. So I think when that one goes up, I want this one to go down, so it'll look like it's, you know, flexing its arm. So back to our filters, we turn off object parameters, turn on rotation. I'm setting keyframe at frame 0. I'm going to like around 25, and let's rotate this guy like that. It's kind of cool. I don't really like the way where it bends its elbow backwards. See if I can fix that. So that's this one, right? So let's see. So when I select it, I see its keys again. So we're flexing up, and then we're flexing down here, and then going back to straight. So if I get right on this one, I can and make sure I'm in rotation, right? I can change this to I can just redo that keyframe. I could bend it up more, or maybe I'll just have it be straight again, and then I'll put in another keyframe to have it bent more. Not really sure what this is going to look like. All right, so it's a robot arm, right? With set key turned off, let's select everything. Okay. And I can make a copy. And then this one, say I will, move the keyframe left to right. And just that one thing is going to make it so they're not or this one here, maybe I'll move this keyframe way over here. And it's still, I mean, I didn't really do very much, but I made it so that they're not doing the same thing. All right, so let's just, so now all you have to do is create sort of like a robot body, right? And then put materials, lights on it and render it out, right? You don't have to do anything super complicated with the materials. I mean, you could just make these all, you can make them all the same color and get some kind of light casting a shadow on there. So it just looks illuminated. Robot body could be just, maybe I'll do a box. this is a crude robot, but still had the hemisphere turned on. Whoops. You know, probably needs a nose. All right, something like that. But just go to, you know, try to position it in some nice way so we can kind of see what's going on. Yeah, you can make the head however you want it. You know, we're just trying to like get something here, but put some kind of materials on here so it's not just this, you know, just these vector colors, right? And it doesn't need to be that complicated, but you know, you can animate his face or something like that if you want, and you know, and render it out the same way I showed you in the to do the last thing, right? And then you just make it 800 by 600 should be fine, right? And yeah, we'll hand that in. Have fun with that.